Okay guys, back with another video, and the title of this video is, and I have wrote down a few notes because I told you I was going to be a little lengthy. The title of this video is, why do we accept narcissistic abuse? A lot of times when we speak on narcissism, we mainly keep the focus on the narc and their abuse tactics, from the love bombing to the gaslighting to just everything dealing with the narcissist. But we never really look deep inside of ourselves. So in this video, I just want to do like a deep dive into something that, you know, we hardly ever talk about when it comes to narcissism and why we accept it. Now, a lot of times there are three main factors that leads to the reasons why we subject ourselves to certain treatment. And those three, you know, those main three factors are abuse, trauma, and neglect. And the thing that comes under abuse, the first thing that comes to mind for me is toxic. You know, and coming up in a toxic household, having a toxic upbringing. If that's all we knew as a child, when we become adults, it's easier for us to just accept, you know, toxic energy. And so again, if we come up in a toxic household, I'm pretty sure there's other things to factor along with that, which again is trauma and neglect. And that trauma can consist of violence. It can consist of a violent household, a household where we witnessed, you know, a lot going on with other members of the household, or even with ourselves. We probably had to deal with it, which is abuse. You know, either we witnessed other siblings being abused, or we were abused as children. And again, that is why we are quick to accept the abuse from a narcissist when we become adults. The other, you know, the other thing is neglect. And with neglect, you can look at that as being connected with an absent parent, or a parent who's just not there to offer the best parental support that they should. And when we're used to that, when we've been raised through that, when we become adults, it's okay for us to accept this from a narcissist. And so those three things, abuse, trauma, and neglect, is what we endure through the narcissist abuse as adults, because that's what we were subjected to as children. That's why we accept the narcissist abuse. That's why it's easy for us to kind of just give them chance after chance after chance, even though it's not good. We know that it doesn't feel good. We know that what they do is pretty much a pattern, just a repeated pattern of just really bad behavior. But again, we used to it. That's what we grew up with. And you know, I'm not saying like this applies to everyone who has dealt with narcissist abuse, because that's not true. I did not grow up in a household of abuse. I didn't. However, I did come from a one-parent household, because my father was the absent parent. So that's where the neglect come in from. The neglect. But the thing about becoming a survivor and becoming visual and having that discernment to see clearer now, and to learn to know yourself, to get to know the new you after dealing with this type of abuse from so long, even neglect, again, from childhood all the way up to an adult, dealing with a toxic person. The good thing is starting over and a new beginning. The good thing is the opportunity to have a new beginning for your life, and setting your life on the track that you want it to go, going in the direction that you want to go in. And with that being said, it's like you have that control over yourself to decide now what you don't want to deal with anymore and what you're not going to tolerate anymore. And you also can better identify what happened in the past. It's not acceptable and it's not okay. That way, going forward as an adult who's a survivor from narcissistic abuse, and once you have overcome it, and you know, it's a process, it's a long process, it's a long road to recovery. But during that process, you can start to look at it different, in a better light, and start to say to yourself, it wasn't acceptable. And I choose me first. And it's time for me. It's time to put me first and to create the new you and be who you want to be and be happy and at peace with that. It's about just this sense of self and just knowing that it can be better, and you're determined to make it that way. Once you make up your mind and, decide what you really want to be, it takes determination, and it is possible. It's possible, and it can happen. You can overcome what you have dealt with in the past. It takes a lot of strength and it takes a lot of courage, and we can do it, because if we made it this far, that takes a lot of strength to get this far and admit to those things. It takes a lot of strength to keep going. And so, again, that's why we accept the abuse, because that's all we've ever known. Along with that is, deeper things to look into, like self-esteem, low self-esteem, and enablers, and just not having any self-love. Again, when you become the new you, you learn to love yourself. You learn to identify the new person. You can create yourself for who you want to be. And one thing for sure, who you don't want to be is what you grew up around. One thing for sure, after narcissistic abuse, who you don't want to be is the person you got out of the toxic relationship with. A lot of times, narcissists are created by enablers. And when we become adults and we are in a relationship with a narcissist, we are their enablers. I found myself being a narcissist enabler. I could admit to that. Oh, I was her enabler for a long time. I was her crutch. I was willing to be her stepping stone. I was willing to be the person who she can stand on top of and wear that crown, and be shined on as, put herself on a pedestal for this grandiosity attitude that she had pretty often. So, at the same time, I have to look within myself and say, why did I allow myself to even be that way with her? And you do some deep diving into your soul and you think back, what made me feel like that was okay? And that's when you go back to as far as you can remember as a child and your own upbringing. And where was my self-esteem then? Like, where did it go? Did I ever have a high self-esteem? Did I ever love myself? A lot of times you may hear the phrase daddy issues when it comes to a woman who's being brought up, in a single parent household, by her mother. And she grew up and she subject herself to a lot of, disrespect and mistreatment from a man who doesn't really care about her as much as you would think he would. And that's because she never cared about herself. She didn't love herself. You have to set your standards high and let a person know what you will not tolerate, what you refuse to deal with, in order for them to see eye to eye with you and respect those wishes and treat you better. Same thing with a narcissist. But the differences with a narcissist and someone who, just wants to manipulate you or just use you to their advantage, or just take that opportunity to just suck anything they can out of you because you're giving it away freely. The difference between those two is the narcissist came to us as a fraud. We didn't know who we were really dealing with because they wore a mask. And because they wore their mask so tightly and they wore it well, we were fooled for just that long. And it's a big difference from a person who comes into our lives and we just willing to just offer them so much so early on, sleeping with them so early, because we didn't have any self-love, no self-respect. So they didn't even require much from us because we made it easy for them. We was an easy catch for them. We was easy everything for them. And so, again, that's why we subjected ourselves to certain behavior from people, certain treatment from people. It stems from childhood. It stems from an early upbringing. But once we recognize these issues and we're determined to fix it, we want to fix us. We want to be in a better place within ourselves, within our own soul, Like once we do that deep soul searching and we determine, I want to be better. I want to live a healthy and happy life. I want to be at peace with myself. I don't no longer want to live like this. We'll do the necessary research and we'll do the work that we need to do to better ourselves, to have a better life. And there's a lot of resources in place that are out there. A lot of people don't have the money. They don't have the money to go sit in front of a therapist or a counselor or a family counselor. But there are still things out there like on the internet. There are like free sessions, probably so many sessions that people will offer you before you have to start paying. Take advantage of that. Take advantage of support groups on Facebook. I know a lot of people may not be into social media, but get into it just for those reasons alone. Anything that'll help you help yourself. Because we go into this blindly trying to fix ourselves, but we're not given the tools to do it. And so that's why those resources are set in place to help us with things like that. Get on social media like Facebook or even, Instagram, Twitter. There are people all over the world who are dealing with this, and those groups out there that offer the type of support that we can all use. So that's all I pretty much wanted to talk to in this section of the videos, of the two-part videos, is why we accept narcissism. It kind of stems from what we dealt with as a child. So, if y'all have anything to offer on this, feel free to leave it down in the comment section. Again, share these videos, get these messages out to people. Thank y'all for watching. Thank y'all for... What's going on, you guys? Welcome back to another video. So I'm going to talk about, why didn't a narcissist family warn you? I thought about this back when I used to hang with the narc, and sometimes I would go with her by her mom's house. And the way her mother communicated with me was quite strange, because it was not so much as a direct communication between me and her, but it was more like she was speaking in codes and talking like to me and like giving off hints that she's kind of, letting me know that she know how her daughter is. And at that time, it's like I kind of looked at it as something strange, but at the same time, I just kind of, just blew it off as, well, I guess that's just the way she talk. But the way her mother used to talk to me, she would always thank me. And I noticed when she was having conversations with her daughter, it was like the way they communicate, the narcissist was always on edge. Like if she had to please her, like if she needed her to be proud of her for bringing someone new around. And when I first met her mother, she would always say, thank you for being my daughter's friend, or thank you for bringing my daughter by to pick up this package, or something like that. Or thank you for helping my daughter. She would say things like that, and I'm like, it was just strange to me. So I thought about, like, why don't the family, later on down the line, once I realized that she was a narcissist, I'm like, why don't the family warn you? Well, the family don't warn you about the narcissist because the family think that you already know about the narc. And the family think that you're just willing to, like be there for as long as it takes to do whatever it takes to help them. And little do they know is that, well, they know because a lot of times the narc comes from a narcissistic family. But it's like the family is expecting you to take on the responsibility to fix the narcissist. And that's one thing we cannot do. That's a huge misconception, that you can help someone become better. The person has to have it within themselves to want to be a better person. And the narcissists have zero intentions on becoming a better person. They are content with the way they are because that's all they know. That's what they were kind of programmed to do. Again, they come from a family of narcissists. And I say this because I noticed the body language, the chemistry, and just the communication between her and her mother. I noticed that it was like, what's that movie? Like anybody who, like a person who creates a monster. And it's like the monster reports back to their creator to let them know that they have completed something or they killed somebody. And they need the creator to know, or the master to know, they need them to be proud of them for what they've done. And it's like the narc, that's what I took from her communication with her mom. It's like she just wanted her mother to know, see, I brought another good one. This is a really good stuff. Like they were even talking in code. And it was just strange to me the way they communicated and the way she communicated to me. And she had just met me. If anything, a normal communication, a normal dialogue between a person who's just met someone, they wouldn't be, like speaking of the person, like if they're not right there. Like it's not even necessary to say, thank you for being there for my daughter. Like you didn't even have to thank me. That's your daughter's job to thank me. And, it'll happen when it happens. If we just have that understanding, she don't have to thank me. I mean, it's just a good thing to do. But, if we have that understanding, it's just like something a mom don't have to touch on. That's not something that she should be communicating with me about. And that's why I say the family, they don't warn you because they already know that something is wrong with a narc. They know something is wrong with the person. And the chances of them warning you, they're going to run the person away from you. You're not only the narc supplier, you're also the family supplier as well. Because it's like you're taking the narc off their hands. And you're giving them supply because it's giving them peace. It's finally giving them peace of mind knowing that they don't have to be that enabler that they've been for so long for the narcissist. Now I'm talking about from a parental perspective, like the narcissist I'm speaking of, like from my experience dealing with a narc and her mother. I noticed the way they communicated. I seen 3 of her other family members, but of course she likes to keep people separated. When she keep you separated from certain people, it's because she has spoken badly about you to that person. That's why she keep you separated from certain people. Just like the friend, her other good supply, who's also friends with my friend. But my friend is not friends with the narcissist. But the narc know of her. Again, back when I told her, you should warn her to be careful with the narc. Because she ain't no good and she ain't no friend. So you need to warn her and give her heads up. And I even told her about some things she said about her in the past. Well, they got back to the narc. Of course, she didn't take it very well. But word is, my friend told me the narc said when we get back to work, she's going to check me about that. I'm pretty sure she just played it off to the mutual friend and was like, you know what, I just decided not to even worry about it, because I'm not even going to worry about it. That's on her. If she want to go around and speak badly on my name, that's just a reflection of who she are. That's what narcissists do. They like to make you look like you're the person who's going around causing chaos and confusion and drama. When they're the ones who started, you just exposed them. Now that you expose them, they don't know how to handle it. And they have to try to flip the script and turn it on you, like if you started it all. I don't feel bad exposing the narc. And it doesn't make me feel as bad or look as bad as the narcissist. Because my intentions are good. The narc's intentions were bad. The narc's intentions to speak badly on my name and completely make up lies about me was to destroy me. It's all a part of the plan to destroy me. My plan is to destroy her by exposing who she really is to people who are blinded by her acts of this do-gooder. So yeah, it's 2 different things. What I'm doing as far as being quote unquote messy, she's being messy, telling her that I said this and said that about her in the past. No, I'm not being messy. I'm being honest because you said it. There's no need for me to just completely make up lies about something that you didn't say. For what? I have better things to do with my life. But as far as this whole narc thing and exposing them, I'm living for it. I'm all here for it. This is my ministry. This is what I do. I'm going to do it until the day I die. And if a person look at it as being messy, that's because they don't really understand what's really going on here. You have to really know what you're dealing with a narcissist before you say anything about, you're being, there's no such thing as being messy with a narcissist by exposing them. That's not being messy. That's doing what's necessary. That's doing the necessary work. And that's what I'm here to do, and I'm going to do it. So, yeah. But back to the family and why the the family don't warn you. Again, it's because they just don't think that that's the right thing to do, because it's going to not only cause, you know, chaos between them and the narc, but the narc is going to lose supply. And if the narc lose supply, they'll lose you. She needed me to be there for her daughter, to bring her back and forth, because, you know, I was also doing a service to her. Both of them are manipulators. Both of them are opportunists. And so that was right up her alley for the narc to introduce the both of us. That made her excited to know, you got a new one. It's like the movie with the cat family. I forgot the name of that movie. And, you know, they kill people. They're vampires, but they're cats. Which is crazy. It's a funny movie, though. And it's like the son would bring different girls home, but he would kill those girls. And he would also bring the girls home so the mom could kill the girls. So those girls were supply for not only him, but also his mother. That's why the mom didn't feel the need to warn the supply. The mom knows something is wrong with the son, but something is wrong with the mother. Same thing with this narc. The mother knows something is wrong with her daughter. She knows her daughter is not all there. She's not all there. She programmed her. She created that monster. You know, so she's not going to expose her daughter. The family doesn't warn anyone about the narcissist because it's a disservice for them. And it takes away supply from them. So that's why it happens like that. So this is just one of the 2 videos that I'm going to post today. I'm going to put them together. So look out for the next video, or if this one doesn't come first. But anyway, thank y'all for watching. Leave your comments down below on it and let me know how you feel, or add anything to it. This is just something that we need to talk about. And please feel free to share these videos. People need to know about this kind of stuff that is going on in the world. So y'all stay tuned for the next video, or enjoy the rest of your weekend, and I'll see you on Monday.